Hey folks, let's learn about the GCP VM instance stop fault. GCP VM instance stop fault is a GCP chaos fault which is used for assessing the resiliency of applications deployed in a GCP virtual machine. In this fault, we stop a GCP virtual machine, wait for a chaos duration, and then later restart the stopped VM. So this fault can be used for testing system recovery, that is, how applications handle and recover from unexpected virtual machine restart. It can also be used for validating any backup processes, for example, any processes which require backupping and restoration. So it can be used for assessment of proper functioning after a VM restart. Similarly, it can be used for validating how the stateful services are performing post VM restart. So yeah, those are some of the potential use cases of this fault. Let's take a look at the different tunables of this fault now. So the major fault tunables include the total chaos duration, that is the duration through which the fault should be injected. Then the chaos interval, that is the duration of a particular instance of chaos. Then uh, the sequence of the fault, that is, if there are, let's say, multiple VMs which you are targeting, in what sequence fault should be injected, whether parallel injection should be applied or sequential injection should be applied. Then we have managed instance group, that is, if the GCP virtual machine is part of a managed instance group or not. In case it is part of a managed instance group, as we know, the GCP VMs are then not started back because it will be managed and be promptly be replaced by GCP itself. Then we have the VM instance names, that is the name of the virtual machines that we want to target. Then the GCP project ID, that is in which project the GCP virtual machine exists. Then the zone of the GCP virtual machine, and so on. So we also have a probe here. The probe is nothing but an HTTP probe, which will run in a SOT mode, and it will ensure that the GCP virtual machine is in a healthy state by pinging this URL. So this URL is deployed inside my virtual machine, the GCP virtual machine. And here we have deployed a simple hello world server, which we are checking for in this probe. So yeah, with that, I'd like to take you to this endpoint, and we can see that currently it is available. I'm able to refresh the screen. Similarly, here in my GCP console, we can see the status of my VM, which is running. So now what we'll do is we'll start the fault. But before that, we must ask ourselves, how are we providing the credentials for authenticating with our GCP platform? So in order to do so, we need to apply a secret, a cloud secret, which will hold the credentials of our GCP IAM service account, and that shall be used for authenticating with our GCP platform. So if we go to the YAML section, we can see that the secret called the cloud secret is being mounted into our chaos pods. So in this way, we provide the credentials to our chaos pods, and they are able to inject the chaos into our applications. So I have already created and applied this secret. So with that, let us try to execute this fault. So now we can see that the fault execution has started. We can see now that the fault has started running. The probe has also passed, we can see. So now if we come here and try to refresh this page, we'll be able to see that the status of the VM is actually in a stopping state. Same can be also observed from the logs that we can see here, that the status of the VM is right now is stopping. Now we can see that the status of the VM has been changed to terminated. So if we refresh this page right now, we can confirm that indeed the VM has been stopped here. And if we right now try to refresh this page, as you can see, we are not able to reach to this URL. So that confirms that the VM has been stopped. So now we can wait for the chaos duration to pass. So the chaos duration has passed, and right now we can see that the VM is right now again, it has been started from a stop state to a running state in the logs. So if we go back right now to our console here, and if we just refresh, we can see that indeed it is in a running state right now. And if we again try to access our web page, so I'll be using a different IP to access it right now, since it's not a static IP, it's a ephemeral IP as indicated here. We can see that our server is also back up. So let's wait for the chaos experiment to finish. All right, so our chaos fault has finished, and we can see that the probe has passed, which we also saw earlier, which is basically which indicates that the probe in the beginning of the fault had passed, and it was essentially just getting this endpoint of our server, and it was definitely reachable. So that is what it indicates. So by virtue of that, we have received a 100% resilience score. We can also notice that by the end of the fault, now our GCP virtual machine is in a running state, and also our server is reachable. So yeah, with that, we can conclude the GCP VM instance stop fault. Thank you.